I do understand what you're saying in that sense.
I'm going to add one more point to this before I move on.
Sure.
I did delete every text message. I did delete every picture. I did all, but it didn't help. It really didn't.
Yeah.
So,
Either.
so my second bullet point was maybe if anybody's ever heard the term limerence, I think it's just you should look it up. I think it's spelled you think Limerence,
Mm-hmm.
and it basically is just a state of mind that you typically are you obsess with somebody, you desire them, you think about them all the time, and you can't stop. And their psychology is saying that it typically lasts 1 to 4 years, and and you will get over it because um, you just eventually move on. But it's one of those things where you get stuck on. So then I was like, when I was reading about that, maybe we get caught in the state of mind of being with this person so bad to reproduce. And
Mm-hmm.
that's how, as human beings, evolve. So you get obsessed with these people. So you fall in love, you have more sex, and you have more children. And that's why the planet is just populated so much right now.
Mm-hmm. Oh, see, you sent me the video on that, and I have my own viewpoints on it. And what I said was, yes, there are many men out there that are very stuck in their lower chakras. They are, say they're married. Marriage is hard. It's hard to keep a marriage together. They're bored. So many men. I love the quote that Chris Rock said. He said, "A man is as faithful as his options." I had to laugh because he's like, if a woman's coming after you, he's like, I can run, but I cannot run that fast. And it's like, I get that. And yes, there are many men that probably make a mistake and they're so allured by some amazing woman and they leave, a wife for this woman. I don't know why, like Brad Pitt with leaving Jennifer Aniston for Angelina Jolie comes to mind. And look, they didn't end up working out. And you see in the tabloids that him and Jennifer Aniston had remained friends and all this. Yes, there are many men that I would say, even I'd be so bold to say, follow their dicks. And they do leave good relationships with good women for the wrong reasons. I do think, though, that in the twin flame realm, it's sure there could be people out there that think they found their twin flame and really it's not, and it is what you're talking about. But I truly believe that with what I feel and what I trust, a lot of the people that I know that have been at this, even 10 years, 14 years, like if they could have made it go away or paid anything to make it go away, they would have. I find it hilarious because the first movie I ever showed my twin was Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind. And it's where these people can get a service to like erase them from their memory, but they keep meeting again and again and again in their lives. And I laugh when I think that's synchronistic in itself, that's the first one we watched together. Because trust me, I've said to him, if someone would have had that service, I 100% would have paid good money to get that done. Because
Oh,
just
me too.
on the feminine end, we feel like we're just effing losing our minds and going nuts and going crazy. And the awakening process is hard and it kicks your ass and you're clearing all these blocks. So I just felt worried when Will showed me that it's like, Will, oh, this drives me nuts that you're watching this and, you could.
Oh, you were so angry. I heard it in your
I was
voice.
like
Oh, you were so
triggered.
angry.
I was triggered the fuck out. Like, it was so bad. I was like, I feel like for any masculine runner to listen to this, oh my word, it's like the worst because it's instilling fear. It's instilling to me what are the exact opposite energies of what the twin flame connection is supposed to bring out in people. And the twin flame connection is here to help you go through your awakening process, clear all your shit, all your blockages, all these old energies from this lifetime, past lifetimes. And then it's supposed to help you to come into balance, come into your heart. And if you follow your heart, The 3D stuff does not matter. The age is just a number. The amount of money, where you live, it does not matter. I told my twin that I would be happy with him in a slum in India with just what I remembered of the feeling of just that warmth, that pure bliss. It's like heaven on earth. And that's what, like, how can I stop myself from craving that when I've experienced that? I think I've done pretty darn good. And yes, I found ways to live my life without it because I've had to. But to amount it to something like that, it's almost like the word, like I can't think of the word right now, but like almost like offensive in a way. Like, no, you cannot say it's just that, like an unhealthy psychological problem or obsession, or do you know what I mean? That's
No,
why it triggered
I
me.
follow you, and then it makes me realize, like, not realize, like, again, like all the talks we've had, it's like the twin, like this twin flame community, because I watch a ton of videos, and they're just, it's a group. To me, it's a religion, or
Yeah.
it's a cult, and there's
Oh my
no
gosh,
like
I get a support because we're all losing our mind and
a
we need to try
support,
to support
maybe
with each other.
like another AA group. But again, it's theories that people, a man, have written, like any religion. Like people take any religion and they run with it, and it's like, no, that my way's right, my way's right. Then another religion says, no, my way's right, my way's right, and then it causes fights. So
Mhm.
it's just, like, who made all these rules and things up? I mean, like,
I
I
think
mean,
what's important is like that people have to find what resonates with them.
no, it's
Because
true, and I agree.
what I
I
would
just
argue is that if that limerence stuff, or just believing that this is just an infatuation, if that really resonates with you, then you cannot be a twin flame. Because you know what I mean? Like, if you think, or if it does go away within 4 years or whatever, okay, then it wasn't a twin flame. It will show itself. There's people I knew that thought they were twin flames, and it turned out they weren't because it just
okay.
went away, or they were on to the next. And yes, there are false assumptions, people feeling they are out there for sure.
Right.
But
But
I
no,
have
when you say
clients that
false twin
deny it.
or real twin, it just makes me think of religious stuff, like the false prophecy, or just that.
Yeah, all
That's
of
why
it,
I bring that up.
humans putting a name to it. Even the word limerence is humans putting a name
Exactly. I
to
was
an
just gonna say
energy,
that too.
right? So yeah, it's tricky. We can debate on and on and on.
No, and I don't disagree with what you say, because a lot of a lot of the things, like when I listen to people, like, oh, I felt that. But again, I just don't want to get caught. For me, I just don't like to get caught in one way thinking. I like to look at everybody's opinion, and then
Mhm.
see where I'm at the end of the day. Like, I don't like getting stuck on just one way of thinking. Like I was telling you, like democracy. There's different sides, and then everyone votes and makes their, and then they vote for what's best for the government at the time. Like, if there's only a dictatorship, that's you don't want that.
Oh, 100%. 100%. And it's always open for, yeah, discussion. And I think none of us, even within the twin flame community, no one's the end all be all or knows everything. And I don't think we're supposed to know anything, but I guess with me, I just know what I feel deeply, it within me, within my own intuition. And when it comes from that place, that's where I feel like I can't argue with what I feel deep down in my soul. I've had friends from the start like, get over this guy. He is horrible. He's so bad to you. Like, there's no way on earth he loves you. Yeah, I could have believed them. I had friends saying, "Stay with your husband. What's wrong with you?" You know what I mean?
That's where I'm stuck at, because all my friends are like, what the fuck is wrong with you? Like,
Exactly, because that's a totally different, it's a 3D. I had friends like literally losing their mind, like, "Oh my God, what do you mean you're leaving your husband?" Because it triggered the fear that's within them. And fear is the opposite energy of love. And this whole twin flame experience, it's there to bring out love, because love is this universal force, it's this energy. And that's what we're all coming towards. Like, whether you're religious or not, like what Jesus Christ represented, I'm not religious, but he represented that energy of love and oneness. And that's what ascended masters, tried to teach of from all different, belief systems. But I feel like that's, you're supposed to awaken to these like high levels is what I feel deep down. And how can we, if we believe in these sort of 3D paradigms that say, no, how dare you? You can't possibly leave your husband or your wife. Like, you can't follow your heart. You can't follow what your soul is calling you to do. You
Right.
can't be with this person because they're too young for you. What would everyone think, you know?
Yeah, that's another part, I guess.
Down
The age thing does screw with me a little bit.
yeah. We're breaking, and that's the thing. It's a 3D, it's judgment, it's expectations, and we go into fear based on what other people think. Whereas we're meant to go down deep into our heart, into our soul, and follow it, follow our truth, no matter what anyone thinks of this. But to
You're
get to
right.
that point, I think we have work to do, and that's why I tell Will, like, I mean, I've talked to so many twin flames, and I will explain to Will, it's uncanny how we will be going through similar things at the same time, or it's nuts sometimes that,
It is.
so many times I didn't want to believe in it too back in the day, and it's like, oh, you can't make this stuff up. It is just crazy, it's weird how we'll all be going through a similar vibe, or you'll go online and then you'll hear a reading and I'm like, oh my goodness, it's like, how do they know what's going on? This is weird. It's weird sometimes.
No, it is. And I'm even from the beginning of meeting this girl, I always like felt like I was she was in my heart, and then my head was saying to stay where I'm at.
Mm-hmm.
So it's always like I do, like my head and my
You
heart
have a
they
perfect
do
wife.
struggle.
Your wife does no wrong.
No wrong. No, seriously, 100%
Literally.
perfect.
Yeah, she's literally sounds perfect. Like, she sounds like the most amazing wife.
She really is. I really can't sit here and say anything negative about her because there's nothing to say. And then we've been together for 13 years, and still this day, still can't. She has no flaws. It really doesn't. Like, and that's people are gonna like, oh, whatever. She has. No, I'm serious. There's no. I can't. I've talked to you long enough.
Yeah, she gives you space. She keeps a perfect household. She brings in money financially. She's organized. She like, I'll be talking to you sometimes. She's like, "Oh, breakfast is ready." Like, she just sounds like that perfect wife,
She
allows you to have an open relationship. Like, she
brings home like women. I mean, I'm saying like for fun. Like, I'm saying like it's crazy. Like everything. As I told you, she's everything any man would really want. I'm serious when I say that.
And that is also another part about you that I've been like, wow, here is a man with this wife, and he still can't stop thinking about this young girl who's a little bit, I don't want to say reckless, but
a little bit reckless. That's actually a good way to put it.
Or, a little lost or something. Like, you're still drawn to her, even though you have this in front of you. It's crazy. In a way, that in itself is crazy.
It is. That's yeah, exactly. It is crazy. But again, I've never felt what I felt with her, the other girl. I never felt that before in my life.
That energetic connection.
Never felt that with anybody in my life. And I
tell you, like, my husband and I, it was, certain things. He was great for many years, and we're still best of friends. Like, he's definitely my soulmate, and I feel your wife is definitely your soulmate. Soulmate is like peaceful. It's easy. It's harmonious. But twin flame brings out your shit, and it's healing in that way, that it brings up your shit and reflects stuff and mirrors stuff back to you and brings up this pain, and all of a sudden you're crying. So yeah, it looks like on the surface to a masculine, like, okay, twin flame, danger, upset, crying, heartache, get her away from me. This girl, soulmate, safe, easy. But yet, why is it not fulfilling me completely? Because it's not fulfilling your soul growth. I felt like I hit a choice point where I could have kept trying to go with my husband, and I could have lived this life. I mean, I don't think we had as good of a relationship as you and your wife. There's definitely, it had a lot of problems there. But, I could have stayed with him. I could have, it could have been okay. It could have been decent life, better, in certain ways for sure. But my soul was like screaming out to me, like, Felicia, you cannot do this. Don't do it. even with me being single a lot of the times over the past 5 years since I met my twin and split up with my husband, I had to be single for all the times I was because it brought out my soul growth, my independence, took away that codependency. So you know what I mean? Does that
And
make sense?
makes perfect sense because I believe I'm very codependent. I will say that, and I will say another point of the awakening process for me was I have never loved anybody more than her in my life. I can legit say that I still love her more than I love myself.
Aww.
And I mean that, and that's the part. And there's other parts of it that still mess with my head, and what also messes with my head is like I just try to get over it, and first thing in the morning I think of her, very first thing in the morning, and I'm like, damn it. And the only time I don't think about her is when I'm working out or when I'm teaching, and I'm like, and then as soon as I'm done, there we go again. So but again, it's still, again, for me, it's still
You wrote me
fresh.
yesterday. He's like, I was doing so well all day, and then teach my class. I'm on cloud nine, get in my car, and like our song comes on the radio, or like
And it never plays on the radio. Never. I've never heard it on the radio in my life, and it's an old song. So I'm like, why the? And it was on a new. I always listen to the new station, so I'm like, why is this song on the station?
And I was chatting with you yesterday, and I'm like, because we're arguing kind of, and it's like, I'm like, Will, I do try to move on with my life. I do use logic and da 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 da. And we're going back and forth. And my friend, who I would call like a 3D friend, she's not spiritual at all. She's a friend that thought I had just completely lost my mind, thinks this whole twin flame thing is weird, thinks my twin flame is a piece of crap, that she does not get why I would ever even speak to him again, and blah, blah, blah. She writes me yesterday while you and I are talking, because my twin's an actor. I just rented a movie online, or like on demand, and your ex guy that you went out with is on it. I'm like, oh, okay.
That's what the universe does. Because thinking of that,
Right.
I didn't tell you the second part of my story. So then I'm done. So our song came on my way to work.
Oh, okay.
And then so then on the way home from work, I'm driving, and then all of a sudden back to back songs come on that like we are also our songs, and I'm like, back to back. I'm like looking up. I was driving. I was looking up at the sky, like, fuck you, universe. I was like, come on, give me a couple hours to myself.
I know, you said you were like, I was just in a good mood, and it feels like to me the feminine triggers the masculine. The masculine doesn't like that, because exactly, that's the soul growth. And in the twin flame journey, the feminine is a big part of the awakening process, and the awakening process is like, it can be a real kick in the ass, because it's hard to get through the clearing. It's hard to get out of fear-based mentalities and these sort of 3D paradigms we've been raised since we were so little to believe in, and to let go of that. So say for me, as a feminine side, like, to let go of, okay, I'm going to be a single mother now, and I'm going to be poor, and oh my gosh, I should stay married to my husband because at least it's two incomes. What am I doing? Like, to go past that was like, oh my gosh, like, it was hard. It was like, sometimes I'd be like, oh my gosh, maybe I should just get back with my husband. Like, this is silly. I'm scared. What am I doing? But like, I had to keep pushing with it. So the twin flame can represent to the masculine like negativity, I would guess, right?
No, that's all in all, though, if you followed what you thought was right, it's very bold, because that's that's where part of my mind goes too. We have a house together, we have this together, we have everything, is just, and it runs like a well-oiled machine, and just to get a wrench and throw it in there and bust it up, it freaks me out. It does.
Yeah. And that makes sense, because this is what we were taught since we were kids. Okay, you get older, you get married, you build a life with this person. Oh, and when you get married, you commit to that. You're saying,
yes,
till death do us part, and you don't just take that lightly. You claim that in front of a whole bunch of people. You signed a contract stating that. And then fear-based, thoughts of like, oh my gosh, I'll be, like you've even said, like, oh gosh, to go back to being a bachelor and this and that, or you'll go into a lot of fear-based thoughts of like even being with her, even if you end up with her, stuff that seems to be scary, right?
Yes, like I guess what scared me was selling my house and living in an apartment again, going backwards.
Yeah.
Being alone, I have to do everything myself.
And
What
you've
else?
even
Yeah.
said, what if I leave my wife and I go with her, and or she doesn't even want me, or then we don't work out, or there's a lot of that as well, right?
Right, exactly. And
And maybe
then
she's not ready. And
yeah,
also
because
she's just a very scattered person, very opposite of your wife. She's just sort of,
yeah,
she's not as
very
neat and
carefree,
organized.
very
Yeah.
carefree.
Yeah.
And like then see that was yeah. I had in the beginning of talking to you, tons of anxiety. I had tons and
Oh
tons
yeah.
of anxiety.
Yeah. You were going through.
And as my process went, got to the point where I was like, it slowly dissipated, because what happened was I eventually had a heart to heart and told my wife everything. Remember, I said, "Hey, I'm fucking
Yeah.
with this girl, blah blah blah." And then I got to the point where, you know what? If my wife didn't want to be with me and this girl didn't want to be with me, so be it. I was like, that's
Yeah.
just and so all those fears like finally flushed, because that fear literally used to have the joystick of my life and control me. And I've gotten way better with that. So now I'm just trying to figure out, like, is it just my monkey brain who just wants to just go run off, or is like this twin flame thing like 100% legit? Because I 99% believe in it. I really do. I
Yeah.
just still got to think, like, I'm still doing a lot of thinking with it. Like, is it like, where's that one last percent?
Yes. And it was so nuts because recently, so I had been talking with Will. I was also working with the other girl that I'm gonna bring on the channel, and like both of them, I just thought, wow, like this is gonna be a long while. The other girl, she did end her relationship, and right at the same time, and this was recently, and it was an intense, energetic time. That would be, I guess, in October, end of October. All this stuff was going on. And then you talked to me and told me we hadn't talked for a while. And then you said, Talisha, like, I sat my wife down. I told her about my twin flame. I told her I love this girl. And your wife even said to you, like, does this mean we're getting a divorce? And I was like, oh my gosh, I think he's about to like end his marriage. I think he's about to like really go be with his twin flame. And your twin flame, like myself and a lot of the ones on the feminine side, we've sort of died down. Like we're not chasing as hard. So tell us
Yes.
like about this whole situation lately.
Yeah, this was recent. This is like
Very
this is
recent.
a couple days ago recent.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
yeah, it was such an intense conversation where I literally slept pretty much for 2 days.
Yeah.
Yeah, we talked about every option. We talked about she like I said, my wife is just so amazing. She was like, "Well, what do you want to do?" She goes, "Do you need a break? Do you want to get your own place for a little while? Do you want?" She gave me like every option possible, and I'm just like, and then that's why I'm like, I start freaking out, like thinking my life without her, and I'm like, well, I don't want her out of my life. Like, 'cause I don't know if it's because I've been
So
with her
weird
so.
because I've told you that I don't mean it in a bad way, but it has been said that the karmic feminine can really manipulate, and I don't think your wife means to be manipulative, but it's like it's hard to describe what that means, but it's just it gives the masculine that feeling like, oh my gosh, I couldn't possibly lose her. Again, that whole she's so perfect, like because it's like manipulating the situation to be no wrong, or I don't know if I can explain that quite properly, but maybe some
It,
people
it,
out there would
it's
understand.
Yeah, it's a hard one to explain, because all my friends who met my wife and then they met my twin, they're all like, "Your twin's a hot mess. She's a time bomb. She's a ticking time bomb. She has no idea what she's doing with herself. She's just." Then she was like, "Your wife, like, is perfect. Like, just so they're like, just none of my friends were like, none of my friends ever got angry or anything like you were saying your friends did, but they're just like, you would be giving up. Like, they're like, so like you would be you'd regret it. That's basically what they'd say. Like, you would eventually be like, all right, you'd wake up one day and be like, you fucked up.
Wow. Yeah. I could see that the masculine would be getting that advice from a lot of angles. It's to me very, very 3D advice because, again, they're not twin flames. They don't understand the connection. to me, there's more to this than running the well-oiled machine. It's a deeper connection.
I
You know,
agree. It is. It's a very
and that's
deep
the thing, is
connection.
what's more important in life, running the well-oiled machine that is impressive and is good on the surface, or that deeper inner connection that you and the other person feel.
It's which is a good point to make. I've talked to tons of people, tons of friends I've had my whole life, and they're like, I have such amazing friends. I've talked to psychologists, many of them, doctors, multiple PhDs. Every single person was like, just give your wife a chance, stay with your wife, trust me.
Yeah.
And you're the only one who's ever been like, you need to go with a twin flame. And I'm like, I'm saying that's like, so that's where I'm always like, that's where the waves are always, I'm like, what, like, what am I? Then I'm like, what? Then I'm just sitting here questioning, what am I doing in my life?
Yeah.
Like, it's just so.
I have been supportive of you. Like, okay, if you feel you need to stay with your wife.
Oh, you have, yes, no, yeah. You've always been super supportive, but
your wife sounds amazing. Like she sounds.
You've always been, I agree. You've always been super supportive, super awesome.
I think when I go off on you is when I think you just sort of want to dismiss the whole twin flame concept or twin flame thing. You're just like, oh no. Or when I feel
do
like,
that.
Yeah, when I feel like you're sort of making 3D excuses to run, I'm there to sort of kick your ass. Like, no, it's not flying with me. Like you know what I mean?
Totally. And that is why I feel drawn to ayahuasca, because
Yes.
Sadly, I don't know if it's sad to say this, or if it's like this is my calling, but I feel like I'm relying on it to give me some answers.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, they say ayahuasca will give you what you're ready for, and the good thing is you're doing the work as well, and that is what the hope has been, is for everyone to do their work. And I do think, in a way, like, you're in touch with your feminine energies, which is so amazing. You know what I mean? And I think that's why you are open to the twin flame concept and moving along quickly in your awakening process. And I think a lot of the masculines out there, they're coming into their feminine energy, just as, like I said, I keep talking about this in my own videos and stuff too. It's just, I know with my own journey, I had to come into my masculine energy. I had to come into that driven, logical, making money, this, earthly, a different sort of rooted energy, instead of, my head up in the clouds in la la land, just waiting around for a twin flame to come back and, be in pure love and bliss, right? It's a balance of the two.
It is. I definitely have way more feminine energy than I ever had. Example, like when my twin and I would have these like conversations, and then I realized like we can't be together. I would just cry, and she would cry, and then she would be like, "Do you always cry?" And I'm like, "No, I've never cried like this in my life." I was like,
no.
And she's like, and then like, and same with her. Like, she's been through a lot in her life. She's had a lot of downs. Like as a young child, like she lost her dad at 10, and a couple other really bad things happened to her. And she's like really strong, and she said the same thing. She's like, I am not a crier. She's like, I know how to, I'm tough. And then she's like, but you just bring it, like, we always cried together. It was just nuts. Like,
I've never cried so much in my life since I met my twin. And not even just because of him, just in general, just these releases would happen. Yes. And sometimes if you'd get that and you're like, what's going on, Talisha? I've never cried. And I'll just be sitting in the bath or in the room. And I remember telling you, like, I remember my twin telling me, Talisha, like, I just started crying the other day. Like, literally, like, and my twin would be so funny. He would describe it. Like, I mean, like, putting my head down on the counter kind of cry. It was like, I don't even know why, it just was coming out of me. And I remember being like, oh, like, he's releasing. And even just recently when him and I talked, I think 3 times, while we were texting, he told me he was crying. And the crying, to me, it's alchemy. It's your body's way of release. You're releasing water.
It feels so good when you cry.
Like,
it does. Oh.
That feeling after you cry, just like, oh, okay. It's like that was a purge. Like, when you do the ayahuasca, you feel this build. You don't eat all day. You take the little small drink and then build up, build up, build up, and then you vomit just that little bit of drink out. It's this purge, and it's like it feels like a huge bodily purge, and it's like when you cry, it's like this little gentle purge. It's just like coming out of you. Sometimes it's a big one where I'm like, oh, like I feel it in my chest. I cry so hard. Like recently when I heard that my twin is having a baby with his karmic, oh, the crying that he did, it was just like gut wrenching, but I had to clear that pain, and now I'm in a different place. It took me a while to get to a different energetic space with it, but I'm like, okay, this is what it is. He's meant to have this child with this woman. Like it just is what it is. Just like with you, okay, you're not ready to leave your wife and your twin. You're not speaking to her right now, and you're hoping to not speak to her, and for as long as you can go, I'm guessing, and maybe that's what she needs right now. And I'm seeing it on a bigger picture.
I told myself, this is just trying to be a personal and just as a good goal, that
Yeah.
I don't want to speak to her unless I wanted to be with her, because I feel like
Yeah.
reaching out and going through this stuff is just false hope, and it's just not like what I want to do to anybody. I don't want to. I just don't want to bring her life down anymore. I feel like a bad person, like reaching out and telling her I reach out, we have this amazing time, and then I'm like, all right, I gotta stop.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it's just that's where I'm at with it. I'm like, no, I just gotta not do that to somebody anymore. I gotta let her live her life, and
And you
maybe
helped me understand the love behind that because, when we first started talking, I hadn't heard from my twin in so long, and it was hard. It was hard to be even working with twin flames when I'm like, okay, like, wow, it's been a long, long time now. Like, wow. And yeah, for you to say that, like, wow, you should be proud of your twin that he could do that. Like, and I'd be like, huh? But
yeah, I should tell you that all the time. Like, be proud that he's not giving you false hope. He's not sitting there being like, yeah, it's Alicia, we're gonna be together. It's like, and then hit you up every day or once a week and be like, I miss you, and then not mean it. Like, that's false hope. Giving someone false hope is terrible.
mhm.
So
Yeah.
that's why anybody who's out there listening about that, like false hope, like someone gives you false hope, and then just because they're being selfish, like I'm trying to be the most unselfish person by not contacting, and then when I did, it wasn't out of selfishness. It was because my heart was just like, I felt like I was just getting ripped out of my chest, and I like had to like just hear her voice, because when I hear her voice, I feel like I don't know, it just does something to me.
Yeah. I get it. And that really helped me to understand, and through speaking to you, like, I would tell my feminine clients this kind of stuff, but to hear it from you, and I even use you as an example with a lot of my clients, because I'll say, look, like, I'll tell them a little bit about your story, and in the way of saying, a lot of the feminine take it so personally. Like when our masculine pushes us away, doesn't want to speak to us, it breaks our heart, obviously. And what would you say to those feminine going through that, just through your own personal situation? Like, do you know what I mean?
Right. I would say that is, if they're pushing away, don't look at it as like, why doesn't this person want to be with me? I don't understand. Look at it like, this person loves and respects me so much, they're letting me go. Not they're not filling my head up. It's toxic if a guy is just constantly telling you how awesome and great you are, and then not showing it, like, and then being a jerk or being this. But if someone's like, listen, sweetheart, I love you so much, I just can't talk to you right now. I gotta let you go. That's what I tell my twin. I'm like, I love you so much, like I can't not, because she would be so sad. Like, why? I want to be. What she always be like, what would it take for us to be together? What do I gotta do? What do I gotta do? And I'm like,
I used to
I
do that in a way.
and then I'd be like, I don't know. You just gotta give me space, please. Just please go do you. Like, do what makes you happy. Find somebody. Do
Yes.
anything, please. And I mean, easy would be for me to be like, oh yeah, we're gonna be together. Just give me some time. Oh yeah, I love you. We'll be together. And then in the back of my head, I'm being like, nah, I'm not. We're not really gonna do that. I just want an option. Options are great. So I'm gonna
Mm-hmm.
say a bunch of lies and keep my option around. And I was doing the complete, for me, trying to do the complete opposite of that. Like I was trying to like push her to go date, go out with friends, enjoy your time. Like, don't worry about me. Do you. And as much as I, didn't want to say that in a way, because I love the girl to death, I wanted her to be as happy as possible. And even if it meant, I was even like had conversations with myself, like even if I had to sit here and live in a little bit of regret, like, oh, I really should have went with this girl, and she was the one for me, and I let her go, and now she's married and has kids and a family. If she's happy, that makes me happy, because in reality, I put so much of my love and effort into her to make sure, like, I taught her a lot. Like when I said, when I met her, she was pretty down and out. And
Mm-hmm.
I helped, I guided her I know I did. Like, and she even tells me she went from living in poverty to now like being able to support herself. And she's traveled to like 16 countries, where before she's never been on a plane. I mean, it's just
Yeah.
amazing to watch her grow. Like, she went from like just like, I don't know, she just grew as a person so much, and I got to sit there and like be a part of that. It just warms my heart. I'm just so proud of her.
It's been so
And
cool
it's
because as I would talk to you and I'd be talking to my clients and I'd be pulling cards and seeing where the energies are at, and just, yeah, that divine feminine was rising, this power, this confidence, this, and the masculine balancing, like I said, to just be a go-getter, go after your dreams and goals. And then next thing you told me that she was doing that big trip and like traveling by herself, I think, for most
yeah,
of it, all of it, all around the world. And from what you had described to me about her before, I was just like, wow, good for her. And I felt like we were both so proud of her in a way.
yes, because she never, like I said, never even been on a plane, and her first trip was to London,
Oh,
and she was afraid of heights.
wow.
So like she was like I remember her like before she got on the plane, like weeks or even months before, she was just freaking out about it. So I would just pretend that we'd sit in my car and I'd just walk through the process of what it's like. And I remember I packed this huge bag of snacks, and I wrote her a huge card with a big letter in it, and I put money in it. And then she was like, on the way to the airport, she was so mean to me. Oh, she was so mean. And I found out later it's because she wanted me to be there with her, and I wasn't.
Oh.
And she wasn't even gonna like she wasn't even gonna like spend the money I gave her because she felt so bad. And then like she ended up using that for like emergency, and she's like, "Thank you. So once again, you came through for me."
Oh, wow.
and and then she was just, just things like, I don't know. One day I was had to, like I said, eventually I'm gonna make my own channel, put my story out there, because there's just so
Yes.
much. There's so
Let's
much I
for
can
that.
give.
We want that because I've been telling Will, I've been wanting to do this interview for how many months now?
Oh,
And I've been telling Will, like, we need
8.
people, your energy out there, because so many feminine out there that go through this, and there's new twin flames popping up, and they're like, what's going on? And I just feel like to have a true runner, and just especially one that's in a marriage. I get this over and over again. Just to share your story, like, we're so thankful for it. We want this information out there, and we'll be so excited for you, and I can't wait for you to put out your channel, and I'll make sure to link it on this video for sure. And you're welcome to come on anytime and talk about this, because it's so intriguing and it's so helpful. It's been so helpful for me, and I'm always just wanting to help others,
And you
and
do an
other
awesome
people.
job at that.
Thank you.
You're such an amazing soul.
Aw, you are too, Will. Thank you so much. Well, should we
You're,
wrap it up there? Was there
yeah,
anything else
say this
you
to
want to?
this is good. We should wrap it up, and then
Yeah, we can do another
maybe
one.
do a second. Yes,
Or
think of other ideas to talk about. And
definitely. Just on closing, what sort of, at this point where you're at, what's your goals, like stepping forward for yourself, for your twin flame, even for your marriage? What's your kind of, where are you at right now, and what's your hope?
my whole life I've always put everyone above me, because I do love helping. I'm a therapist. I'm a physical therapist. I'm a massage therapist. I'm a teacher, and I always love helping people. And I realized I never ever put myself like first. So my goals have been myself. I've just been trying to focus on loving myself because I really don't think I love myself enough. And I'm just trying to figure out what Will needs for once.
Good.
And that's my goal, is just to put myself first for a little bit and try to see what Will needs to be like happy, because that's all I ever wanted in life. I've always just wanted to be happy, like truly happy, and I still don't feel that. And that for me was the hardest part of this whole journey, because when I met this woman, I felt like that was the happiest I've ever been. So I just want to know if like I need to like make moves to see if it was just because she is my one, or if it was just that moment in time. It's for me, it's very confusing. I'm very confused. I'm very lost, and my goal is to find myself and figure everything out.
Key to this journey. We all have to be finding that love within ourselves. We all have to be fulfilled. We can't come together in union as two partially, fulfilled people. It's like two wholes that will come together to just ignite this incredible flame, just like your little icon here. You know what I mean? Like, it's so much more powerful if we come together. So the universe is not letting us come together until it's that way, if we are meant to. And it's like I've always said, it's like dangling this carrot in front of you, so that you keep on this path. And the initial part is definitely that self-love. So I'm so happy for you, Will. And I think your twin, from what I just feel from her energy and from what you've told me, she's on her path, and you guys have helped ignite things in each other. And it just sounds like you're just gonna let it unfold over time.
Yeah, I'm just trying to let life take its course. And for a while there, I used to think the universe was completely torturing me, and like, I just thought, like, what did I do in my past life to like really get tortured? And the pain was so intense that I actually I learned to appreciate it. I'm like, wow, thank you for putting me in all this pain, because it really opened my eyes. I'm like, wow, I'm really like starting to like, even like, I always consider myself a good person. I'm even becoming a better person because of it. And that's amazing.
You're a great person. You're amazing.
Oh, well, thank you. So are you.
You really are an amazing soul. And I think the twin flames, they are these just beautiful souls. We were talking about just the glow that the twin flames have, even just, and you just see their face, the twin flames I meet, they just have this beautiful light to them exuding from them. And especially the more and more that we each clear our energy and come into that union with ourselves, the balance of the masculine and feminine, that self-love that sometimes we grew up to think was like selfish or conceited or wrong or something. But it's like, no, I can put myself first. I can put my needs first. I can stop walking on eggshells around others. And I'm going through that as well. So I'm just so thankful that I have you to talk to and bounce ideas off on this journey. And
same here.
Thank you so much for coming on. And I'm just so glad it finally worked out.
Me as well, Talisha. You have an amazing day, and we will do this again soon.
Yes, definitely. And once you make that channel, we want to know about it. I'm going to put the link in the description box below for anyone that's wanting to find you. Do you have an email address or anything for anyone that might want to write you an email, or are you ready for that yet?
Yes, I will send it to you, and you can put it in the description on your on this one.
Perfect, because I'm sure there could be even some masculine runners, and they're looking for another masculine runner to talk to.
Yes, it's talking
mostly
is the best therapy
on YouTube. Okay, great. Thank you so much, Will. We'll chat soon.
All right, have an awesome day.
You too. Bye now.
Bye.